Hi everyone, I'm Lee Pacchia and you are watching The Business of Law, the only web TV show focusing on the challenges and opportunities facing the legal profession. We're looking at Beleaguered law firm Patton Boggs today. The firm has had a really rough couple of years, and here to help us figure out where they're heading, I'm happy to say we have Casey Sullivan. He's a law firm reporter with Thomson Reuters. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
So you just broke some news in our green room. It looks like Patton Boggs is sending a merger proposal with law firm Squire Sanders to their partners next week on Wednesday. Wow, that's really, really big news. What's going on here? Get us up to speed.
It's a big story because Patton Boggs is such a storied law firm, have a really good lobbying practice on Capitol Hill. Over the past couple of years, they've gone through a little bit of a restructuring. There's been some questions about where the firm's headed, what it's going to do. It's been in merger talks with a few different law firms over the past year or so.
Right. I think this is the third attempt to find someone to partner up with, right?
Yes. Last fall, they talked with Lock Lord, which is a Texas law firm. The talks failed in December. Partners on Lock Lord's side said that they had reservations about a case that Patton Boggs was handling against Chevron.
Right. Massive case, which we'll get to in a moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a big story. Patton Boggs partners are supposed to vote on a merger next week, and looks like it could very well happen.
Yeah, it's tough to get in the minds of a partner, especially these days. But you think this merger is probably going to pass, right? I mean, this isn't a marriage of convenience; it's a marriage of necessity. People are saying that they need to do a deal, or else they're going to face some pretty negative consequences financially.
That's right. I mean, it looks good right now. They've come up with a new name for the firm. Apparently, Squire Patton Boggs.
Sounds positively medieval.
One of the lawyers that I've been speaking with said to me, it indicates that the brand of Patton Boggs is really strong. The fact that there's this other firm that they're going to be merging with that's larger than them, Squire Sanders, and the fact that they're going to keep Patton Boggs in the name is a good sign. They just recently reached a settlement with Chevron over a controversial case that they were handling. A group of Ecuadorian villagers had sued Chevron. It's a decades-old case. Patton Boggs had come in 2010 to enforce a judgment that they obtained against Chevron for damages to the Ecuadorian's rainforest. And Chevron basically sued Patton Boggs earlier this year, claiming that the firm knew that the judgment was obtained through fraudulent means. The lead plaintiff's lawyer in the case had been found by a New York judge in March to have used ghostwriting, had basically ghostwritten an environmental report that the judgment was based on. And Chevron was basically saying that the firm knew about that and was enforcing the judgment anyway.
Right.
And this created business problems at Patton Boggs. They just settled that
For $15 million,
for
which
$15 million.
an awful lot of money for any law firm of any size. And they basically had to apologize, which I don't think I've ever really seen anything like this before. It's unprecedented. My question to you on this situation is, does this deal, did this settlement get done to clear the runway for a merger? I mean, it certainly looks that way from my view.
That's what the Ecuadorian villagers are claiming. I spoke with their lead plaintiff's lawyer, Stephen Donziger, who's saying that he's contemplating filing ethics violations, ethics complaints over alleged violations, basically saying that Patton Boggs threw their clients under the bus when they expressed regret for taking on the case. And so the case is still ongoing. They're still trying to enforce this judgment against Chevron. And basically what they're saying is that by Patton Boggs expressing regret about this, it hurts their case going forward, and lawyers shouldn't be doing that. So on the one hand, it doesn't look particularly good for Patton Boggs, but on the other hand, it settles this major case that had been a big problem for its merger discussions. This was a big case that
apparently Squire Sanders is quite fine with this.
That's right. It was a big issue that needed to be dealt with. Squire Sanders didn't want to take on the liability of the case, so by settling, they paved the way for the merger. But they kind of opened up another set of issues, which is, how do they look in terms of expressing regret for being involved in the case in the first place?
So, getting inside the head of a Patton Boggs partner today, looking at Wednesday, an awfully big day, what's at stake for these people?
Well, a couple sources have told me that in any deal, there would need to be layoffs at Patton Boggs. So I'm sure that is one issue that they're thinking about.
One of the reasons they're in trouble is because they've had so much overcapacity.
Right.
This deal, in part, is to rectify that situation?
That's right. They've had, the revenue's gone down over the past couple of years. They have this compensation system that awarded partners for the number of lawyers that they were supervising, which basically incentivized partners to keep lawyers on staff when layoffs were actually needed. And they also had the settling of a big case defending New York City against health-related claims brought by contractors in the 9/11 attacks. That case ended. It was bringing in something like $40 million, $50 million into the firm annually. In 2010, that dried up. And then they got involved into this Chevron case, and all of those factors kind of led into where they are now. And so, yeah, I mean, they're kind of figuring out today, what is going to happen going forward.
Right, so layoffs are on the horizon, but also in situations like this, you need to incentivize rainmaking partners and people who are crucial to the firm running well going forward. How do you do that? Are there going to be guaranteed pay packages to Patton Boggs partners and personnel that they want to make sure see it through to the other side?
Well, I can't speak specifically to what's going on at Patton Boggs in that sense because we haven't reported on that yet. I frankly just don't know if there are these guarantees being given. But generally speaking, I've spoken with the chairman of another major law firm that has done a lot of these mergers, and generally, yes, these guarantees are given to top partners who they want to keep to stabilize the deal going forward, making sure that they're going to be getting the people that they want, as well as making other changes such as de-equitizing partners when you kind of take the ownership away from a partner, and figuring out all of those financial details. So,
are there going to be capital calls?
Well, yeah, we heard today that, actually we heard yesterday that partners were being told that they were going to start needing to contribute capital to the new firm by January 2015.
Is this going to be a new firm that solves the old problems for Patton Boggs, or is it just a situation where they might be kicking the can down the road?
Well, I think time will tell. The merger is supposed to be completed by June 1st, and it's very well a possibility that partners won't vote to approve the merger, both on Squire Sanders or Patton Boggs' side. We don't know really right now what the progress is on the Squire Sanders side. Most of my sources are with Patton Boggs, but if a merger weren't to happen, Patton Boggs certainly has a number of different options that they could pursue. Denton's, which is another big firm that's really well known for growing rapidly through these kinds of mergers, announced earlier this year that they were interested in talking with Patton Boggs, but the firm was in an exclusivity agreement with Squire Sanders, so that nothing ended up going forward there. But if it doesn't work out, other things could happen, and we'll see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Really great reporting, great article.
Thanks.
Casey, thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
That's what we have for this week. If you'd like to learn more about what we're working on, be sure to go check us out on YouTube, and you can always follow us on Twitter. I'm Lee Pacchia. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.